Thank you for tuning in to the Victory is Greater Than the Struggle, an ex-lesbian podcast with your host, myself, Jessica Newsome. Today, we're going to be talking about pressing forward when you don't want to. Now, along this journey, it gets tough, it gets difficult, and there are 1,000,001 reasons to quit. There are so many reasons to where we're just like, I want to give up. I'm done. This is too difficult. I don't feel like doing this anymore. I don't know if anyone else is going through the struggle that I'm going through. I don't know if anyone else has to put up with this stuff that I'm putting up with this. Why is this so difficult? And so, yeah, we have the option to quit. Yeah, we have the option to give up, but there's a group of people that no matter what, they won't give up. They can be depressed. They can be struggling. They can be upset, yell at God, curse him out one day. But then the next day, just like, God, you know, I didn't mean that. Forgive me, because what am I going to go back to? What am I going to go back to? What is there for me in my past that's going to give me the joy that you've given me, that's going to give me the peace that you've given me, the salvation that you've given me? Nothing. Those things are temporary, and I don't want to go back to that junk. I don't want to go back to the thing that weighed me down, to the thing that made me depressed in the first place, to the thing that basically crippled me to where I even came to you in the end. Because I needed repair, I needed fixing, I needed help. So I came to you. What am I going to go back to? So God has had me in Hebrews 12 for like the past couple of weeks. I keep reading verse 1-3 over and over and over again. And I'm going to break this down in the using the Message translation. And it really just kind of paints the picture of walking this walk with Jesus Christ, living life as a Christian. It parallels it to running a race. And I think of track when it comes to running a race, you know. It's not about trying to win first and coming in first place. I don't want to be second. It's just getting to the finish line. It's starting at the starting point and getting to the finish line, period. That's what it's about. And so it says this in the Message version, Hebrews chapter 12. Do you see what this means? All these pioneers who blazed the way, all these veterans cheering us on. It means we'd better get on with it. Now, who are these people cheering us on? Who are these veterans who blazed the way and who are just saying, come on, keep going, don't stop? It's the men and women of the Bible who've gone on home to glory. It's these people that have been through hell and high water, these people we read about. Not even just them. It's all of the Christians before us who have gotten to glory, who have gotten to heaven and say, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to live in hell. I know what it's like to go through that same exact struggle. I know what it's like to be hurt. I know what it's like to feel like you've been totally left alone. I know what it's like to feel like like you've had the rug ripped up under you and you have absolutely nothing less. I know what it's like to have people walk away from you. And you know what? I got to the finish line, and I'm not here I can't sit here with you and tell you step by step how this is going to work, but you have to do exactly what I did. And that's trusting God. It's pushing on, pressing on towards the mark. I'm not trying to just be all hype right now and just to motivate you for no reason. I'm saying it because it's true. These people have gone on before us and they're in heaven and they're saying, you got this, baby. You could do this. Don't give up. I know this totally sucks right now in this season, but you've got it. We've been there. And if you keep pushing forward, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, don't compare tunnels. Don't compare your struggle with someone else's struggle. Don't compare your season to someone else's season. Don't compare your blessings to someone else's blessings, because that'll keep you stagnant. That'll keep you stuck alongside the road of this race that we're all trying to go. Keep forward, keep pressing on towards the mark. Keep your eyes on Jesus. They're cheering us on. It continues. It means we'd better get on with it. Strip down, start running, and never quit. What does that mean? Strip down, start running, never quit. Take off everything that is weighing you down. You do not see people who are running track that have sweaters and hoodies on and sweatpants on and all this stuff that's weighing them down. They have a minimal amount of clothes because they need to be totally free of everything that will weigh them down, that will cause them to run slower. What is weighing you down? What is causing you to stumble? What is causing you to be stagnant? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it sin? Is it lust? Is it greed? What is it that is causing you to be stuck? What is it that's causing you to move slower in this race instead of running with endurance, pressing towards the mark? For some people, we got to let go of someone who is holding us back. An unhealthy relationship. Some of you have to let go of trying to people please, trying to please everyone around you. That's going to hold you back. Some people have to let go of a dream that is all your dream and it's not God's dream. And you're just having a pity party because you want your way. You got to let go of that thing that is totally holding you down. You have to start running. You have to never quit. It says, no extra spiritual fat, no parasitic sins, things that will eat you up, cripple you to where you can't even run the race. You need to go to the hospital. You need to stop, go to the hospital. Maybe in a couple months, you'll be ready to keep going forward. What sin is causing you to totally just stop the race? You're at a halt. You're at a standstill. You're already thinking of what it is. You already know what it is. But the fact that because I've been there, the fact that we ignore it and we justify it, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make us better. It doesn't make the situation better. We still remain stuck. We still remain stagnant, and we will not be able to move forward until we let it go, until we allow God to fix it, to change us, to change our thinking, to change our ways. There's been parasitic sins in my life, lust, that has caused me to just stop running. Lust, fear, unbelief, right? These things that cause me to just totally say, you know what? I'm not even sure, God, if you can do it. I'm not sure, God, if you could change it. I'm not sure, God, if you are going to come through in my life the way I see you do for other people. These things kept me in a paralytic state. I was just stuck. I could preach, but I was stuck. I could minister to, but I was stuck. And until I let that stuff go, I was going to remain stuck. Sometimes we have to do the very thing that we're afraid of. But God will show us that by doing things His way, by letting it go, He's going to give us something so much better, and He's going to free us from the very thing that we think will keep us paralyzed. If you doubt God, if you doubt His deity, if you doubt His goodness, His faithfulness, all of those things, if you take a leap of faith and say, God, I'm going to trust you, in spite of what I think, in spite of what I feel, because I want to trust you. I want to get there. I want my faith increased in you. When you speak that stuff out, when you put action to it, right? God, I'm totally believing for this, and I believe you. You're right. You're good. I'm going to put my money into this. I'm going to put myself into this. I'm going to put my mind into this. Whatever that situation is, and you put action to your faith, that thing begins to increase, and that doubt, that fear, whatever it is, it begins to fall off, and it goes away, and all you're left with is love and faith, like just resting in the promises of God. Resting in the characteristics that He has for you, right? He says that, wait, you're full of faith. You don't have doubt. You don't have fear. But until you relinquish those things, you won't be able to rest in the character that He's given you. What else does it say? Let's keep going. It says, keep your eyes on Jesus, who both began and finished this race we're in. Study how He did it. I love that. Keep your eyes on Jesus, who began and finished this race. Every person who is running a race, they are looking forward. pressing towards that finish line. They aren't looking to the left, they aren't looking to the right, and they definitely aren't looking back. When you look back, you're done. You may trip, fall, whatever. If you look back at your past, if you look back at the thing you had and you're like, maybe I can go back to it. If you look back at the addiction and say, well, maybe I could pick it back up, you will fall. You may not fall today or tomorrow, but that thing will begin to grow root in your heart. That root will grow into flourishing, into a tree, and it will produce fruit in your life. And you don't want that. So when we focus on Jesus, who began and finished this race we're in, the moment we said yes to God, to Jesus' free gift of salvation, what he did on the cross, he began that thing for us. And now he has the keys of death, hell, and the grave, and we have received salvation. We get to go to heaven. We get to go to heaven not by good works, but by following the path of Jesus, doing what he did, living as he lived. We aren't going to be perfect, but that's where grace comes in. That's where grace comes in. It says, study how he did it, because he never lost sight of where he was headed. That exhilarating finish in and with God. God is always with you from beginning to end. God is running this race with you. You have the advantage. The advantage. When you walk with God, you have an advantage, and the enemy doesn't like it, and he wants you to think that you do not have an advantage. He will do everything to think that you are stuck, that nothing good will come of following God, that you will not be blessed, that you will not change. He wants to do everything in his power to think that you are at a disadvantage, because when you really hold on and understand that thought process, that you have already won the victory, that you have an advantage over your foe, that you have an advantage over the enemy, when you really grab a hold of that, you will not let anything weigh you down. You will not put on any cloak that will weigh you down in this race, and you will keep moving forward, pressing towards the mark. It says he could put up with anything along the way. Jesus could. Cross, shame, whatever. And now he's there in the place of honor, right alongside God. When you find yourself flagging in your faith, go over that story again, item by item. That long litany of hostility he plowed through, that will shoot adrenaline into your souls. So when you feel as though you're struggling and this is too much and you aren't sure how to keep running this race, go over that litany again. Go over Jesus' life again. Go over the New Testament. Go over Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. See how he did it. And imitate Jesus Christ himself, the one who began this good work in you and who will finish it in the end. Keep pressing towards the mark. Whatever is weighing you down, that is causing you to stumble, wrong friends, going out partying, not doing the right thing, whatever it is, listening to music that doesn't edify God, listening to music maybe that will take your mind back to those good old times that we don't need to be thinking about. Don't let things weigh you down. Take off every weight that will cause you to stumble, to be stagnant, and to slow you down. Give it to God. Give it to God and say, you know what? I'm going to take this thing off. I'm going to trust you. Even when I don't trust myself, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to follow your path, Father God. I'm going to keep my eyes stayed on Jesus. And I know that my forefathers, I know that I have people in heaven who are cheering me on. If no one else is cheering you on, there is a whole host in heaven that is cheering you on, that is saying, you got this. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up and you keep moving forward. Don't ever stop. Don't ever give up. I love you guys. Until next time, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to this podcast. Share it with a friend. Check me out, www.loveatthecross. Love you guys.